So there was a 13-year-old girl who was allegedly raped by two 18-year-old football players in Connecticut. This is in Torrington, Connecticut, to be more specific. And the girl who was allegedly raped, of course, brought this case to prosecutors. And thankfully, there is a full-on investigation happening. These 18-year-olds will stand trial, and we'll find out what the truth is. Now, what's fascinating about this story is the way locals in the community are handling it. It's kind of similar to the Steubenville, Ohio rape case, where people are kind of blaming the victim as opposed to focusing on, the alleged, crime that happened here. So there are individuals in her school that are tweeting about her, that are writing Facebook posts about her, and it's kind of incredible to see how ruthless and how cruel they are. Yeah. So I want to read you, a couple of the things that they wrote. One person wrote, Anthony wrote, I want to know why there's no punishment for young hoes. Another individual wrote, you destroyed two people's lives, because that's what she did. She destroyed two people's lives. And then one other person wrote, young girls acting like whores, there's no punishment for that. Young men acting like boys is a sentence.
I don't really understand that last part.
Well, it kind of shows you, what the thought process is and the mentality is for some people. And that's not to say that, this is like a virus that's spreading through the country, but there are people out there that are extremely ignorant about rape. They do have that double standard, and they think it's acceptable for a guy to just have sex with whoever he wants, even if the consent isn't really there, because it's just boys acting like boys. It's not a big deal. She's the hoe. She's the one who dressed provocatively. She's the one who went to the party. She's the one who was drinking when she wasn't supposed to. It's all about blaming the victim, and obviously I don't agree with that.
Yeah, well, another irony, of course, is that all the people writing those tweets about why is there no punishment for whores, universally every one of those wants young women to sleep around more than they currently are. But just don't, get any guy in trouble for her raping you, of course.
You can't freaking win. Okay, so this is my biggest piece of advice to high school girls and college women, okay? If someone calls you a prude, ignore it, okay? That's not a real criticism. That is someone's attempt to get in your pants. As soon as you sleep with that person, you are considered a whore, right? Now do what you feel comfortable with. Don't, even if someone calls you a whore because you're sleeping with a few people, who cares, right? Like, do what makes you comfortable. That's all that matters. But those are false criticisms. Prude, whore, whatever. Just ignore it and move on.
Yeah, and by the way, it's at high school.
I know.
Just get out of high school, man. Who cares about, destroyed their lives. And I'm going to refer more to the Steubenville guys. These are the types of guys that are going to carry women around taking pictures of them, Instagramming pictures, talking about how they're dead and they want to rape them anyway. Their lives weren't going to be that awesome, actually. They seemed like awful people. Their brain might not be fully developed at that point, but to the extent that it was developed, it had not developed in a particularly positive fashion. And so we have the case that's going on here, but we also obviously have the comments. And as you said, the comments are very similar as what came out in the wake of the Steubenville ruling. There's actually a blog that collects those. A lot of the comments are even from women, which is even more mind-blowing. But it's depressing to see this sort of stuff. We see negative comments online, like horrific things said about me and you, for instance, every day.
I don't know what you're talking about. Everyone loves me.
Oh, totally. Like, people are watching this and typing negative things about us in the live chat.
Yeah,
we understand that happens.
Oh, Anna, that dirty whore.
That's the worst thing you could come up with.
No, they've said some pretty terrible things.
Yeah.
But, look, I'm a public figure, so I expect that kind of stuff, and it's fine. But for a rape victim or an alleged rape victim, it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
There are certain online trolls that will go onto, rest in peace Facebook pages. Like, let's say a family member passed away, and, another family member creates a Facebook page in honor of that person.
Yeah.
There are literally trolls that will look for those pages just to write hideous, heinous things.
Yeah.
And it's like this obsession with, getting a rise out of people. But in this case, obviously, this is different. This is about slut shaming, even though she probably isn't even a slut. This is all about making the victim feel bad because she had the audacity to speak out against their town celebrities. And those are the athletes, the football players, the people that, others look up to, which is...
Yeah, little towns that don't necessarily have much going for them apparently are very quick to rally around their high school football players. Look, I know high school football is very popular around the country, that's fine. When they start raping people, pay attention to the baseball team for a season maybe. Maybe they're not raping people and also doing well. But it's sad to see this stuff. It's 2013. we live on the coast, obviously that puts us in somewhat of a bubble, but we expect people to be better than this. But the problem is that while we live in a modern world and it's advanced in a lot of ways, it doesn't ask much of its people, and it doesn't expect that people living in the modern world are going to be advanced. And we don't expect much of people. We think that just because we've created the internet and you can communicate and you can learn anything you want. If you wanted to go and take a class on particle physics right now, there are places where you could do that for free and you can be taught by the same professors that teach at Harvard. But we don't expect people to do that. And if you actually take an interest in doing things like that, you're a geek or you're a nerd, we're gonna make fun of you because why aren't you watching the Kardashians and why aren't you, that's what we expect of you. And we denigrate you if you rise above that. And so we shouldn't be surprised that people like this are willing to communicate like this online. There's always been people like this, but now we unfortunately, from this point on, will always have to listen to what they have to say.